talk about Greenland for a few. I know it's been a lot of people asking about Greenland. I was surprised. My sister called me asking about Greenland. So I have to put up on the movies about Greenland so she can go check them out. But I'm just going to share some things on Greenland, go over some things on why I believe that the Orange Man wants to purchase Greenland. Okay? So I'm going to wait for some more people to step in. Come on in the room. Come on in. All right. Peace, peace, peace. I know, right? I've been going live because I have not been able. I just did a whole video, y'all, on TikTok and was finna get ready to post the video. But TikTok ain't letting me post. So this is why I've been going live because I ain't been able to make my little educational videos. So I've been dropping these lives for y'all. Give me that board. Yeah. Now I'm gonna talk about this Greenland and just give y'all and give me my purple notebook. That's all I need. Tonight I ain't gonna stay on here too long with y'all, but I am gonna share some stuff and reiterate some stuff. Now remember when I told y'all that we are not in our original timeline, right? Now I'm gonna go over some stuff and then we're gonna talk about Greenland because all this is gonna tie into what's going on. Now, the Cabala, which is the tree of life, of good and evil, is none other than us. The Cabala has 4 worlds, okay? Now, this is considered the crown, which is Uranus. That's the divine timeline, which deals with the crown, which deals with heaven. All is mind is all. That's the creative life force. That's what we got to get back to, which is the crown. Here is Saturn, which is the primordial time keeper, right? Which is the entity of time. Understand when Saturn castrated Uranus, Saturn separated itself from the divine, which is the realm of Uranus, which deals with the morphogenetic grid, which is the original grid. Okay? When Saturn separated from the divine, that caused us to fall to the earthly realm, which is the physical plane, the lowest plane to exist on, which is the root. Right? Now, we're here. We're in the hourglass, which is the halls or mirrors, which is the time loop. Okay? The time loop of what? Life and death. Okay? This is the infinity loop that we're trapped in the time loop. Now, we know that the infinity is called the infinity loop because why? Is because we're going to continue to keep repeating the same thing over and over, life and death, dying, coming back, until we break the cycle. Okay? Now, once we break the cycle, we tap up out of the time loop and we get back to Uranus. Now, why am I talking about this again? Is because this is connected to Greenland. Now, Greenland is called Thule, right? Thule means Thule, which is Cthulhu, which is the great mother. All right, and to the ancients, the Greenland is called Oz, okay? And some of the ancients even called it the Mount Meru, okay? So now understand it takes you back to the movie The Land of Oz, which is the enchanted land, the magical land, okay? That was separated from the ordinary world, right, by certain barriers, right? So this Greenland, based off the research that I have come across, it ain't just a land grab, okay? We're talking spiritual warfare here. This land is what you would call the Arctic crown, which is associated with being the crown chakra of the earth, right? Which is called Greenland. Okay? So now understand, we as the divine primordial deities is connected to Hyperborea. Okay? And Hyperborea is called the land beyond the poles. And Greenland is considered the center of it, right? Understand that this land is considered the land of the gods, right? It's connected to us and the Great Mother. Now, and it's considered the crown. As we are going through our transition and and evolving as divine beings, understand we are morphing, right? We are transforming, and we are starting to elevate ourselves to transcend time. Remember, time is the entity which is which is our considered our enemy living in this plane of existence. But as we begin to reach higher states of consciousness, we begin to break the matrix and transcend the entity of time. Okay, so now with him trying to get a hold of Greenland, okay, it's not just about tapping into the resources, right? And getting a hold of what Greenland has. This is all about control. They want to control the Earth's frequency because many of us have shifted up out of this original frequency of this matrix. Okay, and we're causing things to shift even faster. So the orange man, he's trying to gain control. Now, based off my research, is that underneath this Iceland, which is the crown, the Arctic crown, which is the crown chakra of the earth, they stated that it is crystalline technology that exists up under this land. And also, what else exists up under there is the Atlantean blueprint and dimensional gates. And those Atlantean blueprints is connected to the original divine beings that come from the land of Mu, which is the feathered Moors, okay, that come from Sirius, all right, the blue people, which is us, right? So the rainbow people, the indigo people. So understand that they're stating that between 2028 to 2030, this crystalline grid is supposed to come back online again. The orange man's spot is up in office in 2028 or 2026, one or the other. But they're stating that the Great Reset is supposed to take place in 2030. Okay? Greenland sit right near the magnetic north. Based off esoteric knowledge, the north is considered the axis, in the center, an ancient portal that represents the crown chakra. The north is where the primordial light enters into this realm. Okay? And they stated that whoever, as I was saying, like, you got all of these different people, right, fighting over this land. Whoever get a hold of this land, it is a big possibility that they can control, I would say, the energy up to like the next 1,000 years and so on how the energy flow. Okay? Because if they get it, the goal is for them to control the flow of the energy, the virile or the prana, or what you would call the organ energy. Okay? And they stated that it is a high ground for spiritual warfare, the ultimate high ground for spiritual warfare. So this is deeper than what people know. If they want to control the frequency, they want to try to shift what's happening. And the next thing that needs to activate in the divine primes, the eternals, is the crown, which is the pituitary gland, the hypothalamus gland, and the pineal gland. That is the crown. Why you think he want to purchase the crown that is connected to the original elder gods, okay, which is considered us, the ancient ones. All right, he want to get a hold of that land and control the energy and the frequency and get a hold of this technology. That's another thing. Them files, I already knew that his butt was in them files. So even if he is trying to distract, y'all, we got so much happening all at one time. It don't make no sense. So I already knew when them Epstein files dropped. I already knew his butt was gonna be involved in it. He was too much. He was a part of the conversation too. He was in the conversation all the time. They brought him up too much, and he was close to Epstein. So I already knew that was gonna come out, and they was gonna try to definitely bring a distraction to that. But this whole thing with Greenland, that's next level. Okay, that's on a whole nother level. And like he said, it is a matter of national security. It just brought me back to the conversation that I've been having with y'all about what took place with our people in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. How they said that it was a matter of national security when we got, cocaine dropped on our people. How it affected the brown communities and messed us up. The moment we started to rise up, boom, y'all hit us with something. I was watching an interview of them talking about it, and Rick Ross was being interviewed, and he was talking about El Chapo, how they said it was a matter of national security. They had to get him back the money and the drugs. And the first thing came to my mind is the CIA and all of them, they are with it. They are behind the drugs being dropped off in our community. They are behind these drug dealers. The drug dealers getting their drugs from the government. They behind it. That's why they told them to give them back, because our people is rising up and they need something to stop them in their tracks. Hit them with something. Drugs to distract them, to throw them, to derail them from what they trying to do. Because the biggest threat to this system is black power. And not just black power, but a conscious sister and brother that know who they are. And it just taking me back to the 80s when they said that. It's a matter of national security. Give them back the drugs and the money. It's the same thing that Trump is saying now. It's a matter of national security that we get Greenland. Oh, y'all know something finna get ready to happen. And y'all trying to stop it. You said, so he really wants to control it. Yes. If he get a hold of Greenland, okay, it's pretty much a wrap of him trying to control everything. Because Greenland is connected to us. So they know that they can't stop us. So they trying to go to the source. Greenland has everything to do, which is Thule, is connected to the Uranus timeline, which is the realm, the crown, that deals with the crown realm. All is mind is all. That deals with the heavenly realm. So if they get to messing with the energy flow and how that primordial light come through and messing with them dimensional gates up there and messing with that crystalline technology, that ain't gonna be good. And then trying to get their hands onto it because they know that this grid is supposed to turn back on within the next few years, and they want to try to have power over it. But like I said before, I don't think that this is gonna work out for them. I don't think it's gonna work out for them. But that's what, just my thoughts based off my research, what I believe that they're trying to do. They're trying to go to the source. And Greenland is connected to the elder gods. It's connected to us. That land. In the movie The Land of Oz, the princess of that land, her name was Ozma, which means the mother of Oz. That land is connected to the black sun, which the black sun represents the Holy Mary. Thule and the black sun is connected to our very existence. Greenland is also considered as the Garden of Eden. So you put two to two together to see and see why he want the land. You said, is there any connection between the land of Greenland and the films? What do you mean by the films? Elaborate. Oh, for sure. I think it's Royal Empress. Said I'm trying to start a page and definitely link with you for sure. It says how they want you to get it out. Oh yeah, I had a whole video done and TikTok is blocking and won't let me put it out there. Yep, so I said let me come on here and share this. And just to put it out there, if y'all don't know what the morphogenetic grid is, the morphogenetic grid is the original blueprint of nature, okay? And the very memory, okay, of this place is nature's blueprint and memory. And that's the original grid where we come from, which is the realm of Uranus that deals with no time. Understand, we're in the matrix and we're trapped inside the halls of mirrors, which is the hourglass. And this hourglass got us trapped in a cycle of life and death. All right. And once we break the cycle of life and death, we exit out of here and go back to the realm of Uranus, which is the realm, which is the crown, which is the heavenly realm. All is mind, mind is all. So the morphogenetic grid is the blueprint of nature and how things is shaped and formed and created. They said DNA does not hold the blueprint. It merely acts as a receiver that needs the instructions from the magnetic field. Ain't that something? You said, damn, I wish I would have caught you earlier soon. It sound like what you were saying was very interesting. Yes, yeah. This video should stay up. You'll be able to go back and listen to it. There's a movie called Greenland and a sequel coming out. I need to get a hold of it. Yes, the I think it's the second Greenland came out last week. And the first one, I seen that one when everything hit the fan and they went to Greenland. That's another thing. He trying to purchase it because they know the shit finna hit the fan. And they thinking by getting a hold of Greenland is going to be a safety net for them. It ain't finna happen. You said so it's connected. You talking about the movie Greenland? Somewhat, somewhat is some truth in Greenland over the catastrophic part when the shit hit the fan and them going to Greenland for safety. Yeah, that's definitely connected to the actual Greenland. That's why the Orange Man is saying it is a matter of national security that they get it. So understand that Greenland is connected to the original timeline, which is the morphogenetic grid, which deals with Uranus. Uranus deals with the divine. Thule, which is Thule, which is Cthulhu, which is another name for the Great Mother. Okay? That is a name for Greenland. Greenland is also considered as the Garden of Eden. Okay, the first battleground where the gods and the humans went at it, that went to war. Okay, so it's a lot with that. We was considered the elder race. The whole story about Jack and the Beanstalk and the giants, that's all connected to us. And understand these, they talking about Greenland, but all of this stuff is in a whole nother. You looking at Greenland, you seeing ice. That's Siberia, right? But on a whole nother other frequency, it probably looks way different. We seeing it from this 2D, 3D, okay? But that land is a very magical land, and they know that. That's why they trying to get it. And with it defrosting right now or melting, that is a major sign that the frequency is high. That goes for all that ice up there. All of that, the Arctic, all of that stuff been melting up there was letting you know things are shifting. Things are changing fast. And it's the frequency that is high. And the Kundalini energy on the earth is has increased tremendously. They can tell they got different meters and different things to be able to check the frequency of this plane of existence. They know things is shifting fast. And they know we are changing. Like I said, you can't put us back to sleep. Ain't no turning back the clock. We 2020 vision. We see and we also spiritually inclined. So it ain't no going back. So they can't hit us with nothing and try to stop us like how they used to do. Okay, so now they trying to go to the very source. And that is going trying to enter these other dimensions and trying to control the frequency and mess with the grid and mess with the technology and the very blueprint of our people. They tapping into sacred stuff that they aren't supposed to be tapping into. Oh, nowhere will be safe. Not for them. Understand, y'all, the same way how Atlanta went through the flood, The flood is a part of every great reset. It's going to happen again. And they know that. Just like the Sodom and Gomorrah situation. That was a reset that took place in the Bible. When you break down Sodom and Gomorrah, it's talking about a flood and fire and brimstone that took place all at one time. That's what people don't know. Go look up the etymology of those words. You will see that Sodom meant something totally different. It meant fire, scorch, and Gomorrah meant water. So the water always play a role because the water represents chaos. It represents the great mother, the divine, okay, that comes and purifies. So the water always play a role in the great reset, always. And fire does too, because that's the Kundalini energy. So understand, they know that this cycle is ending and there's a new cycle that is coming. But also, a lot of us are shifting out of this matrix. We're shifting and we're starting to transcend time. We're moving from one timeline to another. They know that. They want to keep everybody trapped here using us as batteries in the matrix. They feed off of our energy here. So they trying to fight to keep everybody here. That ain't gonna happen. It's too late. So they racing up against the sun, and they know that their time is very short. So that's why they want to get that land. Oh, floods is always a part of the Great Reset. Like I said, it always gonna end with a flood and fire happening around the same time. The first world got destroyed by fire. I mean, not by fire, but by a flood. That was Atlantis. That was the old world. Then you had Tartaria. Tartaria got hit with a mud flood. So these, there will be another one. It's part of the reset. Talking about the subterranean realm. Many are in the subterranean realm. I'm just gonna touch on it really, really quick because I'm not gonna stay on here for too long because I gotta get off of here because I actually have to prepare myself for a surgery tomorrow. So I need you guys to send me high frequency my way. I have to get surgery tomorrow, and yeah, so that's what I'm preparing for. So the subterranean realm, this earthly realm is considered the karmic realm, right? And understand, when you failed here, when you descended to your consciousness, your higher self could not dwell here because this realm was vibing at a low frequency. So your higher self had to separate from you, and your higher self went to the subterranean realm, which is the underworld. This is in the Egyptian Book of the Dead, and that's what the story is. Ana, which is Anu, which Anu means to remember. That's your soul. Okay, and he's traveling through the underworld, and there's two worlds. You can see him in the underworld, and then you see himself in the karmic realm, okay, which is this realm that you're in right now. And so you can see that everything that he does here affects him in the underworld, and everything in the underworld affects him on the surface. So understand that the whole goal is for you to meet back up with yourself, okay? Because whatever you do on here, it affects you down there in the underworld. Understand there's many gates that you got to go through. Um, there's different passages that you got to take. And the knowledge is key for you to make it through those passages. Okay, to make it through those gateways. There's different bouncers at certain doors. So if you don't speak this encrypted language, which is this knowledge, you don't get past them. So as above, so it is below, as it is inside, as it is outwardly. If you don't do what you need to do on the surface and get rid of your karmic debt and elevate yourself here, your soul can be affected in the subterranean world. Okay? And so your soul is banking on you to get your shit together. So that way you can raise your frequency up, so that way you can unite with your other half. So yes, we separated from ourselves when we came here into this illusionary realm, which is the realm of time, because it vibes at a low frequency. Everything is solidified here. We're dealing with frozen time. That's why everything is solid here. Okay? We're not operating in the high dimensional realms where things is not dense. Okay? You're in a very dense realm. So the soul had to separate until you can get yourself back on the high frequency so you can reunite with God, which is the soul is God. And this is why all the mythologies and the stories and religions, Jesus and all this stuff, stories about these saviors, it ain't nobody but you. And this dealing with eschatology is all about the journey of the soul, moving from the root all the way up to the crown, because the soul is going through a journey in the body, and the body is considered the Cabala, okay? And the worlds exist within you, and the soul has to travel back up to the seat, which is the crown, the pineal, which is the throne of God, okay? Which is the crown, which is the Uranus realm that does not deal with time. It's the realm of the divine, and that's what we got to get back to. So right now you're in your own mind, you're in the matrix. You in your own brain. The brain is considered the matrix. The mind deals with the spirit. And once you get out of your root chakra and you begin to elevate that soul, and it crosses over past time, because you got to get past the portal, which is Saturn. Saturn is the considered the gatekeeper. You got to get through, you got to go through Saturn. You got to break through the hexagon, through the spell, the hexagona. That's why on Saturn it has a hexagon on the North Pole. Remember, our North Pole is considered the magnetic north, okay? That's a portal. That's a gateway. Both of them got the same thing. Both of them is portals, but our North Pole doesn't have a hexagon. Saturn has a hexagon because it's the gateway. You have to raise your frequency up from 666. 666 is considered the code of this matrix, which is a low frequency. That's why hexa means six. That's the matrix. That's the code to the matrix. The code to break the matrix is 144,000 that you have to get, you got to reach to break through. And you got to go through the North Pole, which is the portal, to break through. Okay? And that's the center. You got to go through the center, right? Which is the black hole, the black dot, the black orb, which is considered the black sun. Okay, the black sun is considered the Holy Mary. You gotta go through the black hole. That's why if you ever watch Stranger Things, they talk about the upside down world, because you're in the upside down world. You gotta go through the black planet or the black plane, and you gotta exit throughout the portal, the gate, to enter back to the realm of divine, which is Uranus. So So I'm going to show y'all right here. This is the Cabala. We're down here. Okay. You're in the upside down world. This is the right side. You fell down here. You in the upside down world. This is the root. This is you. This whole Cabala tree is you. And this is your crown. This is mind. Right? Which is Uranus, crown, heaven. Mind is all this mind. This is where you supposed to be. You inside Saturn. You in the hexagon. You up under a spell. You in a low frequency. This is the primordial timekeeper. Time caused you to drop down to the root chakra. You fell into the earthly realm, which is the physical plane. That's why they call it the Saturn moon matrix. Because now you done fell into a material realm that is controlled by time. The Malkuth. That's exactly the Malkuth. You're in that realm. You got to get back up here. You got to break through Saturn. You see where Saturn is at? Saturn is lower than Uranus. Keep in mind when Saturn castrated his father, Saturn separated himself from the divine. We have been separated from the divine. We got to get back to it. And the only way to do it, you got to break through time. You got to get past the entity of time to get back to Uranus, which is the crown. That's way up here. Anu is the soul that must travel back up to the crown. Anu means, when Anu is broke down, it means atom. Atom. Okay? But Anu means the soul, which means you must remember who you are. That's who Anu is. And Anu is Anubis. Okay? Keep that in mind. All right. So I just covered some things. I just wanted to share that with y'all. I ain't gonna keep y'all for too long. So I said let me go on here because I couldn't upload my video, but now y'all got this. So y'all will be able to come back and watch the video and everything. But yes, your boy Trump, he wanna get that land for many reasons. But understand that it's connected to us. Okay? It's a very magical, enchanted land. It's the land of Oz. All right, y'all, I'm up out of here. I appreciate all of you divine primes for coming in this live tonight. I'm getting a surgery done tomorrow. I would appreciate if you guys can just send me some high frequency my way. I will really appreciate that because, going under is always spooky. It's always spooky. And I do not like going under, but I do know certain things that must be done. Thank you, thank you. Yep. So yep, y'all, let's just keep elevating. Pay attention to what's happening. Um just understand that, this is our time. It is our time, and like I said before, the power has already been given back to us. Y'all remember the movie Avengers, the Endgame that dropped in 2019 before COVID had hit? They was putting it out in the universe then what time it was. Y'all remember when Captain America, he gave the shield to the melanated man, the Falcon God? That was a sign that the power was already given back over to us. We already got the power in our hands. It ain't in their hands no more. Captain America gave it up and gave it back to the rightful owners. The power always been in our hands. That's why in 2020, it was a major reset. 2020 was 2012. It was the end of the Maya, end of the illusions. So anybody's still stuck in the matrix, literally stuck in the matrix, is because they're in a strong delusion. This is why people so messed up now, because they still stuck in the delusion. You got different frequencies that's happening simultaneously at the same time. But you got majority of the frequencies that's vibing at a low frequency. That's why if you wonder why you don't fit in or things feel strange, it's because your energy is foreign, because you're starting to vibe on a higher frequency. You're tapping into your crystalline energy and power. You're starting to transcend this place. So, thank you, thank you, thank you. So, yeah, so the power been given back to us since 2020, y'all. The power been given back to us. And who was the falcon god? That's Horus. The black man represented Horus, the falcon god with the wings. He gave him back the power. Horus is us. So, power has been in our hands. We just got to start standing on business and standing 10 toes down. Period. Until this thing boil over. Until things go back to how they're supposed to be. And we go back home. All right, y'all. I'm out of here. Each one, reach one, teach one is the goal. Look, y'all already know what it is. If it resonate, let it marinate. If it don't apply, let it fly. All right? Look, stay negative free. Continually keep paying attention to what's going on. You got children. Be overly protective at this time because it's too much strange things going on. And I'll catch y'all another day. Uh, Thank you, Royal Bloodline. Love you too, Divine. All right, I am out of here. Y'all already know I love every single last one of y'all, and I appreciate y'all coming into these lives, kicking it with me. Look, we need more high vibrational conversations. This is needed. This is needed. All right, family, I'm out. I'll see y'all later.